What do we got in the views today? We got us a Team Seavark opening up on Team Mage. I can't even tell. Are you going Arcane? Is that Arcane? Look at Arcane. We're going to see what kind of bubble you get yourself. Is it look at Arcane? Look at a shield. Hello? Shield? Shield? Shield, 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 shield. Anytime? Arcane. We got ourselves J Rabbit in here playing out as a survival hunter. We got Lupus playing what either BM or a marksman. Peachy in the back is a good old Feral. And Shadow on that Demon Hunter with a Pepe. How do you get the Pepe? Do you have to go to the order hall for Demon Hunters and get that? On Team Blue, we're missing one guy, but hopefully they get a fifth. We got ourselves Astride. Astride? I guess so. Demoniac in the back. I faced into you in arena the other day, by the way. Karma GG Port and Pedro. Hopefully Team Blue gets the fifth in, but we are going to have ourselves the duel. Seavark, I'll read your message in just a little. I think the timer should start anytime. The gates are open, and it's going to be, I think Team Blue is trying to figure out who's going to be first to go next. It looks like everybody's going up all the same time. Pedro and Adahi and everybody. Okay, we're good. Are we good? Are we good? Okay. It looked like the whole enemy team was riding out for a second, but it's going to be J Rabbit as a survival hunter versus a feral. As per usual, guys, be out of stealth unless you're dueling. Mage buff, priest buff, warrior buff, warlock hellstones are allowed to be shared. However, the pally buffs, keep them to yourselves, boys. Keep them to yourselves. It looks like Pedro is gonna go with a turtle strategist hanging out in the corner until the eyes are up. He's just trying to avoid J Rabbit completely. If only there was a stream that J Rabbit could tune into to see exactly where Pedro's at. And Vexatic, it's gonna be man that's a fifth on Team Blue. So now we have ourselves a full set of boys. Pedro still hugging that corner. He's just going to play it super safe. Is he actually going to wait until the eyes are up and running? J Rabbit is just, again, playing it super safe. Is able to get himself quite a bit of extra add up with that Crucible Flame. Is going to have rank 2, maybe even rank 3 as a very first blast. So he'll have himself a little bit of damage in the opener. It looks like he's just going to go for a little bit of dance, trying to lure Pedro out. And Pedro is just a horn dog. Look at this guy. He sees a female Night Elf out in the open all by lonesome. Actually avoiding the trap completely. So for J Rabbit, it's going to be quite bad. Is able to remove the manic bandages with the bleeds with the manic bandage. Tricky coming up for Pedro off the pet stun, however. And Pedro still trying to build up common points. You got to set up onto J Rabbit. Actually might walk into the freezing trap. Almost walked into it. Gonna be a Maledict stacking up into J Rabbit. Might go for turtle shot. Pedro walking into the freezing trap, which is perfect for this hunter. Allows him to get acceleration in order to get a little bit of heal. Should probably get a dot rolling into Pedro before he catches himself. Actually, Pedro goes through a Swiftman instead of going for a prowl. The trap is up and running. He does avoid the trap completely. J Rabbit trying to get himself as much defense as possible. That's gonna be mobility. Trying to come out for the hunter. Trying to outrun the feral completely. Very low on health. Satan Chicken down for the coward. Has himself a Crucible rolling, but actually be down for here, and that's going to be a big old bite out of Pedro. J Rabbit did have turtle, did not use it or used turtle early. I did not register on the UI, but by the UI itself, it looks like turtle was not used. That would have been a perfect time to turtle. Wait it up a little bit. Get yourself a little bit extra healing. Maybe turtle and go for full manic bandages just to recover. Get a stun into Pedro, reverse it. But that's going to be a Feral's bite out as a first win of the day. Going to be 2 minutes in, actually. I don't know why I read it 7. That's going to be a Worgen Hunter. Lupus from Moonguard setting the pet out, trying to get the pet beefed up. Is going to get the pet going onto Pedro, doing a bit of damage, but needs that line of sight to get majority of the damage going. Is he playing for the double pet playstyle? You got a, well, we actually got like a white crow and a dark crow together. That's actually pretty cool. That's like a such a cool combination of pets. Actually, accidentally picking up eyes. So Lupus is going to take 5% more damage. He's going to get a settle to Pedro, who's going to be out of form for a second. Crows all over him. Crows as a dog, but also Crows just pecking his eyes out. Actual pets. Mally rolling onto Pedro as well. He's going to wall this for a little bit. Got himself renewal if needed. No more walls available. Big old bash. Big old bite onto Lupus. Huge damage out of nowhere. And Pedro is just tearing this hunters apart back to back. That's going to be Lupus actually using one of the essences for mobility. Pedro saving chicken proccing out right now. Has a chicken need a big bite onto Lupus. Actually, Lupus might be going down here. Couple shreds are needed, and Pedro does come out on top. These hunters got nothing on the feral, but that is going to be Shadow up next as a demon hunter does see where Pedro is at. Is going to be able to maybe hit him with a glaive. Does have spectral sight rolling. Is going to nail Pedro with a glaive, but it's not going to be a slow glaive. Regrowth coming out for Pedro. Trying to get himself a bit of a reset. Shadow needs to strike while the iron is hot, but Pedro still finds himself an opener, which is going to give him such an advantage with bleeds over to the Demon Hunter, interrupting him on the eye beam. And Shadow does have Metamorphosis up and running, is going to be able to get himself quite a bit of healing. But as you can see, the bleeds are quite huge, with a Maledict rolling onto Shadow. Actually going to cycle on him instead, trying to see if he can force the trinket out of the Demon Hunter. But that's going to be a kind of a wasted Maledict, though, in the opener. So that was a little bit unfortunate for Pedro. Still, Shadow is behind on health, going in for a full Metamorphosis. Finally, the Demon Hunter has opportunity to get himself quite a bit of value going. Stun onto Pedro does land, and that's going to be quite a bit of damage, dropping the barrel, quite a bit of health. Actually, big Annihilants coming out back-to-back. With a Crucible to follow, Pedro is a bit on the ropes right now. Huge Shield coming out with a renewal. Probably a Swiftman to follow with that as well. Trying to see if he can maybe catch himself a reset. If it was only in that, if he'd be able to catch a proper reset onto Shadow. Needs to build up some call points and land a route to separate these two away from one another. Pedro needs to get away from the Demon Hunter right now. Warstorm coming out with a Cyclone. Maybe no trinket available for Shadow, actually. That's perfect setup for Pedro. The Cyclone does pay off, but he's not out of the woods yet. The Demon Hunter has Spectral Sight immediately, even before Pedro caught himself Prowl, getting tagged by a glaive immediately. And Pedro's still on a run. 5 minutes in, dampening is going to start kicking in. Better start getting all your heals right now. Shadow can actually remove some of those heals, but he cannot find the Feral. And Pedro going to get himself just a little bit of heal, just enough to get going into some bleeds under Shadow with a double Crucible to follow. He's just getting offensive. That's going to be eye beam up for Shadow. Not some Metamorphosis, but the root does separate these two. The Crucible does quite a bit of damage, dropping Pedro quite low, with an Imprison to follow, just to make sure Pedro doesn't go anywhere, with a stun right after, and that's going to be even more damage. Bash into Shadow. Does Pedro go to maybe recover, maybe peel away from the Demon Hunter, or is he going to stay in? Does not recover, does not peel away where he probably should have. That's going to be one of the biggest mistakes he's ever done. Darkness coming down for Shadow immediately as Touch of Death approaches. The Touch of Death last. No, Shadow actually flying out of his own darkness. Gonna get tagged with a Touch of Death. It doesn't do that much damage, so maybe probably would have been a better idea just to stay in darkness to have a chance to avoid damage completely. Because not only avoiding the damage from Fist of Furies and all these other abilities, but you might have actually been able to absorb that Touch of Death all the way into darkness. But that was a ballsy move. It did pay off. He got himself quite a bit of healing there in the opener. And Karma GG port, after rolling a Mally onto Shadow, not going to be able to capitalize on that Mallet. It got himself a bit of a defense against magic with Diffuse. Has Karma, has Wall if anything. And Shadow is completely out of cooldowns right now. Is going to get an Imprison to Karma. Looks like Karma has a bit of a lag. Striker coming down for Karma, but that's going to be stunned. And I-Beam by Shadow is going to get himself a little bit more damage onto Karma GG port. Looking like Karma might need to come out of Karma right here. And that's going to be it. Karma coming out of Karma. Shadow just needs to live this long enough. Karma decided, you know what? Maybe I can go behind the pillar, catch myself a little bit of reset, catches the Shadow in Incap with a leg sweep, Fist of Fury, gets him quite low, but Karma is now a little bit exposed right here. Might need to go for a bit of healing. Actually gonna roll away for a second. Shadow going up in the air, not the best time. Gonna be some freebie heals out of Karma GG port while Shadow is in the air. Does not have any enemy to barrage from above. And the Monk is going to get himself quite a bit of recovery. He's making sure to use Expel Harm, I believe is the talent called. Reverse Harm, maybe. It had a couple names throughout expansions, but he's going to use Reverse. Is Expel Reverse? I want to say Expel Harm. Can we go with Expel Harm? It might be reverse, but you guys know what I mean. But that's going to be Expel Harm, getting him quite a bit of health, 8% of his health. It is dampening, 50% is going to be down below. And actually, Karma G-Port caught without any cooldowns, with his pants down, trying to see if he could roll out of that situation. Shadow is right in his tail. Giant Kick is going to pay off. Incap to follow. Does he have a stun to follow up? He does not. Trying to see if he can use Tiger's Lust just to give that a little bit extra mobility to get away from the Demon Hunter. And he's almost found perfect line of sight. Wall coming, no, Diffuse Magic coming out instead. Trying to reduce the magic damage. Stun coming out. That's going to be the end too. The Monk. Shadow taking out the Monk after getting such a huge opener on the guy. And even after Shadow messed up with Darkness just by a hair, it still worked out. Demoniac is going to be up next. I believe this guy plays Relentless though. So as Assassination Rogue, he literally plays Relentless Trinket. He is relentless. He doesn't want to take any CC. Gonna be actually freebie damage out of Shadow. He does hit him with a Mallet. Gonna be Cloak of Shadows for Demoniac. Waiting for Shadow down below. That's gonna have a Mark for Earth ready for the guy's stun to follow. Doesn't even need Vendetta. He just needs a little bit extra damage. Maledict is down. Shadow, if he can somehow, I don't know how, but if he can somehow recover. Metamorphosis coming out. He might be able to recover quite a bit of health. Evasion coming out for Demoniac immediately. Shadow step into Shadow to get that Envenom. Shadow is gonna use the Crucible to self-heal. I-Beam right after. after with a Blade Dancer follow, trying to get as much damage into Demoniac. Oh, but that Crucible is going to be a 3-stack Crucible just to yop him right in the head. Now, this is going to be advantage for Demoniac before Seawork is able to get a tag on him, but it looks like Seawork is going to give him a bit of an honor duel. Demoniac could come out and at least give him a bit of a bow. He's going to sap him. And it looks like they're just going to get Barra back into it. 8 minutes in, almost 9 minutes, boys. 24% dampening. We got a Garrote opener for Demoniac. Get a nice Poison Bomb proc with a Kidney Shot. Is actually going to dispel Seawork's shield. That's actually a very good play. That's going to be some freebie damage into Seawork with a Crucible right after. He does get a Temporal, but the Temporal to those dots isn't going to be huge in value. He does get a tag with another Tempest onto Demoniac, though, so that's going to be quite a huge dot rolling on him, or at least a pretty decent dot. That's huge for Arcane, however, to make sure the Rogue does not catch style. Huge blink for Seawork, even stripping more buffs out of Demoniac, making sure the Nether Tempest is continuing to roll on the guy. Some more bomb coming up for Demoniac, trying his best to catch himself a full reset. It looks like he might have gotten a poison or two onto Seawork. The Arcane Orb does not connect, but Shadow Step coming out for Demoniac. Gonna be a blink for Seawork, does so sprint, but getting caught in the root. He did use his one mobility ability. That's gonna be a Polymorph for Seawork. He might be able to get himself a good setup. Demoniac somehow kept himself out of the Polymorph. That's going to be a dot coming out for Seawork. One of the trinkets is going to be Rot Cross Trinket from Underrot, which is apparently really good for mages. It's going to get us slow into Demoniac, trying to get him out of the pillar, trying to coax him out of there. Is going to send him away with some arcane missiles gently flying at him. That's about all we can do right now. He's going to send an Arcane Orb. Kidney Shot coming down onto Seawork. He is choosing to Trinket with a bit of a heal with Temporal. Demoniac might have a Shadow Step for this. He's trying to maintain the dots on Seawork. Is going to have a Cloak of Shadows. Big blink coming out for Seawork. Is going to go with Invis for a second, but that Envenom to follow. It's going to be Maledict on Seawork. Might have to Ice Block this. It's going to knock up Demoniac for a second. Try to slow him down. Having to go for an Ice Block as Demoniac really does have him on the ropes. Demoniac still holding on to Shadow Step if things ever really go bad. So it's been really difficult for Seawork to deal with this Rogue. He does need to max range him like he's doing right now. Demoniac is going to Shadow Step. Another Kidney Shot onto Seawork. Just going to have to take that damage from the Rogue. Being Assassination, they do quite a bit of damage, but Demoniac is going to peel away to try to catch himself a reset. And with this arena setup, it might be very difficult for Seawork to find a way around this, because for Demoniac, this is the perfect arena. The amount of line of sight there is, and the amount of distance Seawork can get away from Demoniac is just, it's only limited. The only time you can really get maximum difference is, let's say, Seawork goes to one side of the pillar, while Demoniac is on the other. But this right here, this elevation is enough for Demoniac to Shadow Step from almost every angle. And so it really just allows him to play the angles as he wants to. And now he can get offensive. Shadow Step, Kidney Shot onto Seawork. The more Kidney Shots he can land, the better. That's full combo points. Had combo points from before where he could use a Mark for Death for either a Rupture, full long duration Rupture, or even an Envenom. Seawork trying again to deal as much damage from Demoniac with double blinks. And Demoniac is waiting for yet another kidney. Root onto Demoniac. He is trying to strip him of every buff. Maybe any Crucibles that might be able to give him a heal. Blind onto Seawork as he's popping cooldowns, however. And Seawork is still down on CDs for a bit. 30 seconds until he has a trinket back up. He did not get himself a shield right in between of that Kidney Shot, though. I think he tried to get a dot on Demoniac, making sure he doesn't reset. That's going to be Mark for Death. Try to get a Crucible heal, but I think that might be it. The dots are quite huge for Demoniac. He does get himself a shield rolling. And he's trying to see maybe he can attack Demoniac with a dot or two. Seawork has a trinket coming up very, very soon. Demoniac trying to make sure he get a Crucible in as much damage as possible. He actually just might commit damage on the Seawork. He just needs a couple more of those poison knives in there just to reduce any healing Seawork gets as he's trying to go for a bit of every defense and try to see if he can recover in any way possible. Barely any health left. He doesn't have anything at all. Does get himself Crucible self-heal. Demoniac has a Shadow Step available. Seawork does trick it out of it. May be able to get Nova onto Demoniac. He does have Cloak of Shadows if things go bad. Sending a Maledict onto Seawork. Cloak of Shadows, nothing you can do unless you have Ice Block. This is it. Does get himself an Invis for a second, but I think it's going to be game over. Demoniac with barely any health, played it to the very bitter end. Played both played super well. That was very well played by the both of them. Demoniac had to play the long, had to play the slow game, had to play the Kidney Shot game, which some of you guys don't enjoy. I do understand, but he had to play the long, slow game. Seawork did the very best he could. I feel like in just about any arena setup, he might have been able to get that much more range away from Demoniac, but some of these pillars in the underside and then having the upper, lower elevation, it just allows Demoniac just to play around that, what, 24, 25 yard range on that Shadow Step. So as long as he's within that 25 yard mark, which is very easy in this arena, even down below, up above. Look at that. Shadow Step onto Peachy. Gets himself a sap. Peachy is out in cat form. Demonic is going to be able to get that opener. Has evasion. Has a cloak. Does not have a cloak of shadows. Has a trinket. Has a vanish. And you can go for full vendetta. It's going to be full vendetta out of onto Peachy. Peachy trinket out of the kidney shot. It's going to be evasion for Demoniac. Peachy might have to tank this up a little bit. 51% dampening is going to be quite huge. Demonic is just going to use as much damage during this vendetta while he's got it. Peachy, without a trinket, can actually be very susceptible to a blind. Demonic tried to use his health pool as much as possible to stay onto Peachy as best as he can. Did have a Mally rolling on him, and that Mally should dissipate in just a second, but that's going to be that perfect reset for Demoniac. He has to be playing Relentless because he hasn't triggered anything. But I like it. It's playing to the very bitter end. Mark for death, kidney shot onto Peachy. If he can somehow survive Peachy's onslaught after this, he might stand a chance. He's going to vanish out before any dots come on him. That's going to be Peachy catching himself a little bit of a self heal, get himself a regrow, Swift Man, but at 55% dampening, it's going to be quite rough. And Peachy knows that Demonic is going to have the opener every single time. Demonic, though, is very down on cooldowns. Getting actually swiped out, so Demonic might have put himself in a bad spot here. Does get a stun onto Peachy with a Garrote. Shadow Step into Peachy, Smoke Bomb to follow, trying to maintain the dots on Peachy. But it's a good thing that he doesn't have any dots himself. Maledict onto Peachy actually forces that pressure. Peachy won't be able to heal a lot. If that's going to be a Cloak of Shadows for Demonic in case Moonfires comes out. Building up calm points, might be able to get himself a kidney shot onto Peachy. That next kidney shot could be the end. That was actually safety trinket that got burned through. But Demonic tried to stay next to Peachy at all times. That's going to be a pre-wall by Peachy. Demonic get himself a bit of a, I believe an Envenom there. Maybe dots. I think dots or Corruption would have been better. But that was one kidney shot. Peachy, no safety trinket, no more walls, no more anything. All he can do is heal. And if Demonic can just maintain those poisons on him, that'll be tough. Peachy actually catches a restyle, but not able to get the stun opener. Cheap shot by Demoniac. No ticket for Peachy available. Is that going to be a stun? Crucible to follow. Does get a root on Demoniac. Demoniac is just a monster in these duels, man. Peachy is just on the ropes the whole time, trying to maintain their self-healing, and Demoniac is just not trying to let him get any kind of reset. And looks like Peachy finally caught himself that one reset he needed. Phantom Knives is going to be his biggest threat. Mark for death, the turnaround trinket for Peachy. If he did not have a trinket, that would have been the game right here, and Vexadic is not going to let Peachy out of that one easily, even Bear Form and everything. While up and running, I don't think Vex is going to let him out. He's actually just going to meme beam him. He actually just meme beamed him. Oh my goodness. Demoniac, what is that? That was incredible, dude. He played to the very bitter end. That is so good. I love a rogue that does not panic when their health gets low. They just use it as a resource, right? Energy is a resource, health is a resource. I might as well use the both of them, right?